Hello there, Ray here, and today I'd like to share with you guys some contraptions that we designed on stream for 1.14. The first one here is a simple wool farm that is automatic. This is something that's introduced in 1.14, and if there is a sheep that has its hitbox in front of a dispenser, any part of it, and the dispenser has a shear in it, and the dispenser is powered, and that sheep has some wool, it will shear the wool off of the sheep, and the wool will drop downwards. Using this, I have designed up a very simple automatic wool farm. So what we have in here is about 24 sheep, that way they don't take max cramming, and each of these sheep are adults, so they will provide us some wool. And then I have beside them a dispenser that is pointing towards them full of some shears. Underneath of the sheep is a grass block, and when they want to get their wool back and they're hungry, they will eat on the grass, and this will regenerate their wool. And once the grass has been eaten by the sheep, it will come along and update an observer here because the block has changed from a grass block to a dirt block. This observer will detect that and put a power into this block, which will power this redstone, which will come into this dispenser and power it. This will allow it so once the sheep has eaten the grass, he will regenerate his wool. At the same time, the dispenser will use the shears on that sheep and will shear off the wool. Then the wool will fall downwards. Then, right after that occurs, then we have a delay with this repeater, and it goes into this torch, and then this goes into a block which is right beside a trapdoor that is waterlogged. This will allow it that once the wool has fell to the ground, the water will come out of this trapdoor, which will be open for a very short moment, and then the water will gush over top of this block and be able to push any items over here into this hopper. And you can see it occurring right there. It's very quick, and the water doesn't spill over the edge. The wool is then sent into the hopper and down to the chest, and you can see where you can collect all the different types of wool. You can go ahead and you can dye up the sheep whatever color you want. You can even dye up every single sheep a different color, since there is 16 wool colors, and you have 24 sheep to work with, so you can have every single type of color. That way you get a whole variety to work with from a single farm. To get this dirt block to regenerate its grass, we just need to have some grass blocks around it. And what it does is this dirt block will be able to accept any grass that comes from a certain area. So in a 3x3 area that is 5 meters tall, it will allow any of those grass blocks to try to move over into this dirt block. And by having this area full of grass blocks, it will increase the chance that the game will try to move the grass block over there. And then this will allow the grass to grow back more quickly. And this will allow the sheep to eat it more quickly and allow you to get more wool from it. As you can see, just with normal random ticks, it regenerates pretty quickly. Also, for the grass to grow, we need to have adequate amount of light. So the grass blocks themselves need to have at least a light level of 9 or higher. And that's why I have a torch here, as well as up here. And the dirt block needs to have at least a light level of 4 and cannot have any water above it or other similar block. Also, I'm using a new feature of this snapshot, which is the latest one, 46A, which allows light to be able to go into blocks such as stairs as well as slabs. So you don't even need to have glass here. You can have like a stair here, and then this block here will get enough light above it that it will be able to spread over there. And I can demonstrate this in an example over here. Before, when you would stand on a slab like this, the game would say that there was 0 light coming from the sky and 0 light coming from the block. But now when you stand on a slab such as this, you can see the skylight is 15, and we have a torch over here, and we can see the block light is 12. And this means that we can have enough light for the grass block underneath to be able to spread. The farm itself is very small, as well as being efficient, taking advantage of all the grass blocks, and also having the maximum amount of sheep that allows with max cramming. But you can always make more of these modules. Maybe you can make one module for every single color. That would produce quite a bit of wool. Now this farm itself, I ran a 1-hour test, and it produced about a stack and 42 wool out of it, which is pretty decent for as simple as it is. And this farm can run whenever there is a player in the area, allowing the grass to be able to spread. And also in this snapshot, there is a mechanic where if there's nobody online and he has it built up in spawn chunks, the grass will still be able to get these random ticks and be able to spread over there. Otherwise, typically, spawn chunks will not allow this to occur. If you're curious about that, I did talk about that more in my efficient bamboo farm, so I will link that in the description. I really like this contraption because even this water back here that has a trapdoor in it, this grass block can even help spread over there. And having the waterlogged trapdoors is a really nice feature that was introduced in 1.13. It allows us to contain the water back while also allowing it to easily open up and allowing it to flow over and close again. So we don't have to use like a dispenser or like a piston to do this. The dispenser here can hold 9 slots of shears with full durability. This is equivalent to 33.5 stacks of wool coming off of these guys, so that's quite a bit and would easily be able to fill up your chest here. But if you want to go ahead and add in more shears, you can always put in some hoppers like this and then put a chest on top and then fill this chest in with shears as well. That way you can have even more shears go into the system before you have to refill it. And the nice thing about shears is that they're relatively cheap to use and they also have a lot of durabilities. Grass block spreading is a pretty cool mechanic, and it actually was kind of annoying for us when we were building our lightning farm on Protect because the grass looking to spread was creating different types of updates, which was breaking our random number generator lightning farm. So we actually had to go around and remove all the grass blocks in the area that the game was checking. The wool farm consists of a layer of grass blocks down here. We got a chest, and then this layer consists of all grass blocks, except we got a hopper here and a observer here pointing outwards. The next layer we have a dispenser, and we also got it surrounded by some stair blocks, which could also be glass blocks. Then inside we have the sheep in the very center, and then we have our waterlogged trapdoor, and then behind it we have a solid block which has some redstone pointing into it. We also have some redstone back here and a repeater. The very top layer is a solid area of grass blocks, except we also put in a slab just so the sheep wouldn't be bobbing around so much when the water comes through. And we have some torches on each of the layers. I also put in a lever right here, which when you first have the sheep inside there, you want to go ahead and remove all the wool from them just by doing that. That will activate this dispenser on the sheep, and then you will have sheep that are ready to eat some more grass. The next machine that I'd like to show you guys is one that we designed up on stream, and this is a shear sorter that I came up with. So the way this device works is you come in this chest here and you can put in other non-stackables as well as shears, and the machine is going to sort them out. So I put in some picks as well as some shears, and you can see it's sorting right now, and you can see the shears end up here and all the other non-stackables end up here. This device is really compact and simple. As you can see, what's going on is you put the non-stackables up here, they come down here, and we have a clock here that will allow them to go into the system at a speed in which the system can sort them. So they come down here, and once there is an item inside of here, it'll be detected by this comparator, which will come into this clock, and it'll also unlock this and allow it to go down into this dispenser over here, so that there is one item in here. Then from here, we will be able to detect that from this comparator here, which will come around and power this. And what we'll do, if there is a pick in there, it won't be able to do anything but just throw it out in front of it, and then it will get picked up by this hopper and put into this chest here. If there is a shears inside of it, what it'll do is it'll try to use the shears over in this block here. So if there was a sheep here, it would use it on them. But since it's not able to do anything with that, then what it'll do is it will pull the shears out of the dispenser and then put it over here into this chest. And that way you can sort out shears from other non-stackables. Now you would use my shear sorter in conjunction with Gavin, one of the other Protect members. He came up with this really nice design for sorting out tons of different items. So this is his contraption. His schematic didn't want to fully load in 1.14, but you can check out his video down in the description. It's a really cool sorter which allows you to sort out shulker boxes, potions, different types of buckets with liquids in them. Also, you can do flint and steel, minecarts, and boats. And then what you would do is you stick my device after this. So after I sort off all those, it'd be left with other unstackables. And this would be like your picks and shears would go in here. Then you would pretty much hook that device up to it, and then that would sort out the shears from other non-stackables, such as like your pickaxes. And this device can be put into your storage system. So after you would sort out all the normal stackable items, then you come in and sort out all these other non-stackables. And now we can also sort out shears using this device. The shear sorter consists of some redstone in a couple different areas. Most other repeaters are set to 1 delay, this one's set to 2 delay. Here you can see the redstone on this side, and we have some chests as well as some hoppers, and that's pretty much all there is to this device. If you would like to look at both these devices in more detail, I will provide the world download down in the description. I also want to briefly talk about the jigsaw block, as well as some other things that the lanterns do, which I didn't cover in the snapshot video. So besides just the normal full blocks that lanterns can sit on top of as well as go underneath of, they also have some exceptions like the walls as well as fences, which look very nice on, as well as they can hang from them as well. There is also some inconsistency as like they can't go on top of hoppers, but they can go underneath of them, which is kind of strange, and if you turn them sideways there's like this little air gap, and for some reason you can't place them underneath of iron bars, or of course on top of them, but I think it would look really nice if that little chain was hooked onto an iron bar. That might make it more consistent. So I want to test and see how hard they are, because they are kind of made of iron. So here is a pickaxe that has efficiency on it, and yeah, I can break it fairly quickly. If I try to break my hands, you can see it is extremely hard. I would say maybe similar to like endstone. It seems very difficult. You can see it just barely made a little crack on there, and that's definitely not the tool to use. Here's a normal pick. You can see it's slightly slower, so efficiency does help, and a pick also helps. And here's just an axe to see how it compares to axe. Axe does not work on it at all. And unlike torches, it cannot get washed away by water. So the jigsaw block was introduced in this recent snapshot as well, and you can get this block by doing give, and then your name, and then doing jigsaw, and then it will give you a block. This block is not in the creative menu. It's similar to some of these other blocks which I have here that you can't find in the creative menu, like even dragon eggs you can't find either, and some of these other blocks. That's why I have them in my save tab. The jigsaw block doesn't have any real function currently, but it will have some soon. And currently, if you right click on them, you can see this interface here. But what the jigsaw block is going to allow the player, once it's completely functional, is allow the player to be able to construct structures out of small templates. So this way you can have a bunch of little templates and then you can use those to make a structure. So the top line here is the target pool. This refers to the pool of elements that the jigsaw can draw elements from. So let's say it's building a mansion and let's say it wants to know what room to build next. It will search in here to find the next room, and it possibly could be random. This next line is attachment type, and this is referring to the name that the jigsaw block is using, and it can only connect to other jigsaw blocks that have a similar name. Now, the last line here is the turn into, and this is a block state that the jigsaw block itself will turn into after the whole thing is placed down. So you don't have this structure block still sitting there afterwards. This will allow people to be able to do a lot more stuff in creative, but currently it doesn't have a function, but you can see that it has these arrows on all the sides, and it kind of has this piece of like a jigsaw on top where one side might connect into the other, although the way that this jigsaw up, you'd have to remove these two sides here for this piece to connect to that piece. And then the bottom of it just is completely black. And when you break it, it has the default breaking particles, a simple and efficient automatic wool farm for all your wool needs, as well as a shear sorter to go into your storage system. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and if you found this interesting, show me a like and share this with others. If you'd like to see more simple contraptions like this, I do have an entire playlist of it, which I will also link down in the description. And I would like to hear what you guys think about the dispenser. Do you think the dispenser should have more options? Should the shears be able to also shear off like the pumpkins off of a snowman and other similar things? Tell me all that down in the comments. Bye-bye!